Whoa, 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 whoa. What? What? What?
What's going on, everybody? It's Frito here for ClickHeads with a big community news roundup. The current meta balance state, some interesting discussion from high-level players and pros, as always some fun odds and ends, but as well, mega famous YouTube game reviewer AngryJoe did a stream playing Valorant and was quite surprised at the price levels of the cosmetic items. After seeing that the Prime collection will run you for about 75 USD, Joe's brain exploded. And well, I'm surprised this hasn't been a bigger area of contention around Valorant. I'll note, I personally don't mind the egregious prices myself. I pay for them. But when you start to compare to the cost of other things in the game industry, like AngryJoe brings up, it does seem a bit out of whack. $75 for a bundle of skins, as Joe points out, can buy you multiple older games, especially ones that are on sale. And this is money that could get spent, as he says, on indie game development or in a variety of other ways. And instead of doing that, us competitive FPS players rather have pretty gun skins to flex on everybody with shiny cosmetics. I suppose my opinions are just grandfathered in from the outrageous prices of CSGO items, with some skins ranging all the way up to hundreds, if not tens of thousands of dollars for some of the rarest skins in the game. Number values getting to a point where the skin economy has caused for betting websites to get congressional hearings in order to regulate them. That's how insane these numbers are. Now, Valorant skirts over that from being a problem because there is not going to be any type of ownership of the digital goods for trading. The one argument that some would say about the egregious skins in Valve games is that you either can directly sell on that marketplace to get Steam money to buy other games, or sell it on third-party sites, and it sort of has a bit of tangible money to it, and you can recoup some of those costs. Whereas when you buy skins in a game, well, it's just tied to your account and the money's spent. But is this fair though? And the thought process with free-to-play games, of course, is that your whales will be the ones that are funding the ability for lots and lots of other players to play on a completely free account. Someone like myself that's going to spend a few $100s into this game offsets, and in the case of like League of Legends, earns the developers even more money than the normal box product idea does, with how high some of these prices can go. I suppose I knew what I was getting into when Riot was making another free-to-play game, and perhaps everyone is just so used to it by this point that as long as it doesn't have RNG mechanics, it seems a bit more fair. But I think what we need to realize is that if we're stepping away from the loot box model in our games, premium skins are going to cost a pretty penny in order for the developers to fund these games as a service games that take constant development and updates. One thing that I'm not too happy about with the way the store works is that you don't have access to buy exactly the thing you want, and you sort of have to wait around for the offers to come available for you. Again, I feel like this is another system to trick you into buying things and not overwhelm you with too many options, and not letting you easily compare how much a skin you might really want but can't have access to buy yet costs before you weigh up which one you want, hoping that then you'll just buy one sooner and end up paying even more. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why it's done. But at the end of the day, I am a capitalist, and I do want the developers that work so hard on a game I love to earn money. So I am a little bit torn about it myself, because although I know there are many other full-price games that AngryJoe would rather I spend my hundreds of dollars into, but the truth is I don't spend hundreds of hours into those games. In fact, I hardly play them at all. That's the way I see it, at least. But moving on to other news, if you remember a ways back, we reported on a new agent leak that came from some of Valorant's most famous data miners. Floxy updates here stating that the player model for the character Shatter, in the form that they have found in the data mining, is unlikely to be coming to the game because, as Floxy says it, the devs have stated that they really don't want to deviate hitboxes too much, and this character would be significantly shorter and smaller and harder to hit than the other released agents. So if we ever are to see Shatter Shatter joined the agent lineup, this and perhaps many of the other speculated abilities may have to be changed. The leaks on Shatter came 2 months ago, actually, at the same time that Raze was correctly leaked. Not much was known about him at the time other than the player models and images, but it was assumed that he perhaps would have a decoy or flash grenade of some type. The Valorant developers have been saying that there was supposed to be one more additional agent at launch, but didn't make the cut. At the moment, the best guess of who that might be is either Shatter or perhaps the Killjoy robot agent that maybe makes turrets that I don't know if anybody actually wants to see in the game. The release cadence on new agents is yet undetermined. I wouldn't be so surprised to see one every couple months though, and at the very least one per quarter or 3 months of the year. Speaking of agents, Effects on Reddit found a bug that allowed him to unlock extra agents. This player says that they already had 2 unlocked and was in the process of confirming their 3rd unlock, but got an instant 4th as well. Quite a lucky RNG pull, I will say. We know that the challenges, the battle pass, and now the agent unlocks have had some unreliable results thus far. Let us know in the comment section if this is a common thing that has happened to you. I do certainly wish it was a bit easier to unlock agents, but hey, that's just me. Another thing I wanted to share from Reddit for all you Jett mains out there, Calog shares with us a host of jump and double jump spots for Jett to use when using her ultimate. Some of these angles may surprise you, spots on the map that you either may have not known you can scale up to, little spots and angles that definitely can catch a player off guard. I mean, there's no way that they're going to be ready for you flying above some of this vertical cover. Remember that Valorant is very lenient with its skyboxes, allowing for a lot of abilities to fly uncontested, and in the same way, Jett can get away with some of these wacky jump shenanigans. Next up, wanted to talk a bit about the state of the Valorant meta and what top-level players are discussing. Here on ESPN, they interview a long list of pros that actually have a variety of different opinions about Reyna. You may assume that pro-level players would just simply flat out have a universal opinion on the agent, since she's so sharp in what she does, but there's actually quite a bit of disagreement. The few universal opinions that came through in this article was that Reyna is amazing on pistol round, which makes sense. Being able to heal yourself and get higher health than anyone could even buy is quite an asset. Not to mention, the flash is tough to kill on pistol, making Reyna kind of a pistol round god. Some of the pro players note that the distance that you can absorb an orb from, kind of similar to the cast distance of, say, Sage's Wall, which Riot recently nerfed in order to reduce the execute distance that was being used on a lot of maps, particularly on Bind, is too far on Reyna because it really gives her a lot of options to flow through the map and snowball the round. As soon as you get that entry pick, using the intangible with the move speed is a great way to gain information or just stack up your health. But there are a few pros that think that she shouldn't really work in an organized environment and is more a pickup game or ranked stomper character. I'm sure everyone has seen clips of Reyna going invisible in her ultimate and just getting behind 5 members of the enemy team, killing them one by one. That's not really something that an organized team with communication is going to fall victim to. However, at the same time, there also seems to be universal agreement amongst the pros who say that Lear is the best flash in the game, and I tend to agree. I said that in my tier list video as well, for a few reasons. It has a long range, it doesn't flash your team, unlike other flashes, and it must be destroyed similar to like Raze's boom bot on the entry of a fight. This makes it incredible in 1v1s and requires teamwork, typically for one player to shoot it while the other player focuses on the main angle. It is possible, because it does cast near sight on you, that if you are on a close angle against the Reyna, that the near sight might not be enough to obscure your vision and maybe you still get a kill with that shotgun or in whatever close range duel, but playing like that typically is risky to begin with anyway. I will say, after watching the vast majority of games of the Twitch Rivals tournament and studying how they went there, Reyna saw significant pick rates in the group stages, but as the tournaments went on, she really dropped off in the playoffs and in the finals for most of the regions, if not all. I think these are interesting points, and I want to talk more about this in future videos on the state of flashes and entry abilities in the game overall. Some pros seem to think Reyna's ability to entry is overpowered, where I would probably argue I'd wish it was the other way, where more entry kit was as strong as Reyna. But to move the conversation a bit, let's look at a clip of Hiko, what he's been saying about the meta, and some forces that are making characters like Reyna and Jett quite powerful.
I think the game right now has a lack of utility. The game needs to have more ways to counter oppers, because right now, ops are way too powerful on the defense side. Teams are double, sometimes even triple opping, because it's literally impossible to push off all the angles. There's not enough flashes, there's not enough smokes, there's not enough utility. A team in Counter-Strike has 10 flashes, 5 smokes. In this game, you have 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 flashes, and you have 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 smokes for the entire round. So the problem is there's not enough utility right now to counter oppers. So oppers right now are teeing off on teams. And Jett is really good because Jett can get above and around smokes faster than anyone else can. So, and easier than anyone else can. Jett can pretty much jump over all of Brimstone's smokes for free, right? Especially Haven. I think Jett's best map is Haven.
This is a pretty interesting take, I think, and a surprising development in the Valorant metagame, because the start of the game, it felt like the operator wasn't really required, but as the game has evolved and players have learned how to be restrained with their utility, I think, the positions you can take on a lot of these maps, especially with characters that have escapes like Jett's dash or Reyna's intangible, allows for the op to play in positions that can't really be traded out, or due to how difficult it is for the entry kit in the game, like I said earlier, it can be tough to overwhelm an op angle without knowing where it is. As Hiko says, in CSGO, there was set executes where everybody's got smokes and the smokes are really big and flashbangs are popping off everywhere, through smokes I would add, meaning that it was a lot more powerful, I think, to use those executes to deny lines of sight from an operator. And the crazy thing is, even though there's tons of smokes in the game, they're quite limited in where you can apply them. Really, I think you would need both Brimstone and Omen in order to combine with the absolute line of sight denial that you can get in CSGO in terms of creeping up onto a site and smoking off everything, but you most definitely don't have the flashbang power like Hiko was suggesting. Not just because I think the flashes are weaker in this game, they're also naturally weaker because they don't flash through smokes like they do in CSGO, which I think is just a huge thing. I'm going to talk more about this in an upcoming video. This is a particular passion part of the game for me, so it'll be interesting to read your guys' comments to add to that discussion. But for now, though, we're going to end the video with a couple cool things to share. Here on Twitter, Ellie shows off quite a creative cosplay of Raze, showing off that it doesn't take an incredibly expensive costume to really pull off the character. I mean, just with the poses alone, I think she's killing it. Is that just the secret Raze fan in me? Come on, even if you hate Raze, you gotta admit, this looks pretty cool. And for the last clip of the video, everybody, it's your moment of zen. Here's Wardell hyping up his teammates to not be afraid going up against Hiko, and we'll see how that works out for him.
It's okay. Come here. Don't be scared of Hiko, man. He's just a human.
I know, it's true. I'm not necessarily scared of him.
Wait.
Oh. Wardell, you're trolling us.
You guys are trolling me.
Well, guys, that's everything for today's video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please be sure to leave it a like. It really does help us out. Lets us know that you're enjoying the content. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the bell icon to actually get notified when our videos go live. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for ClickHeads. We'll see you guys next time.